One of the requirements for a president to declare a state of emergency in any state in Nigeria, according to the Constitution of Nigeria, is consultation with the Council of State. I don't know. Maybe they didn't publicize it. But did Tinubu call a Council of State meeting? Because that's the very first requirement for the president to declare a state of emergency. Now he says one or some of the members of the Council of State includes the governors, former heads of state, former chief justice of the former speaker and all that. The governors are also part of the Council of State. And before the president would declare a state of emergency, there has to be that consultation. And the governor will have an opportunity to air his opposition to the state of emergency or to present reasons why the conditions do not warrant a state of emergency. It's not like the governor has any power to veto, but he can offer his opinions, which other persons in the Council of State can support, and then there might be no need for a state of emergency. Did the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu fulfill this requirement before declaring a state of emergency? If he did not, then the state of emergency can be challenged in court, and the court can declare it as invalid. It is a route that Fubara should take if indeed there is no Council of State meeting for consultation before the president declares the state of emergency. There are constitutional provisions to these things. After the president declares the state of emergency, then he's supposed to send that state of emergency to the National Assembly to approve. Well, the National Assembly, we all know, tends to be a rubber stamp National Assembly. But then you have an opportunity created for the legislators or the senators from Rivers, the House of Reps members from Rivers, to also air their opinion whether in support or against the state of emergency before the National Assembly can ratify it. If the National Assembly does not ratify it, the state of emergency does not take effect. So I don't know why the president will say taking effect immediately rather than taking effect after ratification by the National Assembly. We run a constitutional democracy. We should be seen to be respectful of the rule of law. I know the president has tremendous powers, but those powers have to be exercised with due process in mind and with total respect for the rule of law. These are my two concerns. Aside that, it doesn't bother me, even though listening to that speech, President Tinubu seemed to be very biased against Fubara. Even though Fubara took some of his advice, withdrew the case that resulted in the Supreme Court judgment that emboldened the 27 lawmakers to go and be fomenting all this trouble through the, in my opinion, illegal impeachment notice. And the president seemed to be blaming Fubara for the activities of militants without any mention of Wike, who is the chief architect of all of this trouble. Now he has declared a state of emergency, suspended the governor, deputy governor, the legislature as well. But Wike continues to be a minister. How fair is that? This is a wake-up call. It is a wake-up call that Nigerians need to come together to kick these people out. We go just a shout to, then go just a look us. They know how to hide behind the law, even though in this case, it would appear as though the president is not following the constitutionally prescribed procedures to declaring a state of emergency. I have not heard except it happened behind closed doors and we didn't know. I have not heard that there is a Council of State meeting. I have not. Rule of law is the foundation upon which every country is built, countries that work. If a president can be seen not to follow the rule of law, then we have a problem. Like I said, I stand corrected. I may not be aware that there was a Council of State meeting. But if there was not a Council of State meeting, the president cannot go ahead to declare a state of emergency. And if he did that, then the governor has legal grounds to go to court to seek redress. Another thing that borders on rule of law, we have a bill sent to the National Assembly right now, to the Senate, by Senator Ned Nwoko, seeking to compel bloggers to have an office in the capital city of every state, compelling bloggers to be part of an association, a bloggers association, headquartered in the Abuja. It is clear that speaking truth to power will not work. And I'm not saying we should stop speaking truth to power. We definitely should continue speaking truth to power. But it is clear that with this set of people that we have, it will not work. I told you before, it's called state capture. When you have a gang of robbers, they organize themselves and put themselves in positions, they can pass a law that makes armed robbery legal. Because they will use the powers of state. So these people are there, they are just passing any law. They are not passing laws that will make life easier for Nigerians. They are passing laws that will make life more difficult. All of these are a wake-up call for you and I to organize, to kick them out in 2027. We need a leveler. We need a level playing field that only an abundance party can provide. All the other political parties, please, you need to wake up to this challenge. Enough of all this cash and carry politics. You need reforms. All of you must agree to zero naira or free nomination forms to open the political field. If you don't do it, then Abundance Party will lead the way in this direction. The things that are happening, look at what just happened with the NYSC. We, the people, need to come together. That's just my take in all of this. We will scream. It falls on their deaf ears. They continue to plot and plot and plot. Atiku has given out a statement. Atiku gave a statement. He said, the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State reeks of political manipulations and outright bad faith. I agree. Anyone paying attention to the unfolding crisis knows that Bola Tinubu has been a vested partisan actor in the political turmoil engulfing Rivers. His blatant refusal or calculated negligence in preventing this escalation is nothing short of disgraceful. Beyond the political scheming in Rivers, the brazen security breaches that led to the condemnable destruction of the national infrastructure in the state land squarely on the president's desk. Tinubu cannot evade responsibility for the chaos his administration has either enabled or failed to prevent. It is an unforgivable failure that under Tinubu's watch, the Niger Delta has been thrown back into an era of violent unrest and instability, undoing the hard-won peace secured by the late President Umaru Yar'Adua. Years of progress have been recklessly erased in pursuit of selfish political calculations. If federal infrastructure in Rivers has been compromised, the president bears full responsibility, punishing the people of Rivers State just to serve the political gamesmanship between the governor and the president's enablers in the federal government is nothing less than an assault on democracy and must be condemned in the strongest terms. Tinubu seems to forget that all of this military might may not quell a resurrection of the activities of the Niger Delta militants. It cannot. Disruption of our oil production output capacity is inevitable. We are not supporting the activities of these militants, but the action of the government needs a second look, particularly if this state of emergency was declared without consultation with the Council of State, properly constituted. Don't destroy our democracy. And Nigerians, don't keep quiet. Speak up. Speak up. We owe ourselves that duty.